Alright guys, this is Joel here. I'm coming to you from Anthony's channel, my friend Anthony's, because I just wanted to talk about the deck I've been playing. Honestly, with the meta being the way it is, I didn't really want to spend a lot of money. So I kind of decided to fall back to Watts, and this is a different version. This is the build I played at Regionals, which I had fairly success with, X3, which is good considering the meta's really too fast for something that can't handle previous metas in general. I'm just going to go into the deck profile, and if there's any questions that I feel are going to be risen or that they may ask around me, I'll answer them as I go. So the deck runs 2 Seahorses because the ability to draw 3 is nice and all, but with Cobra and Dragonflies, you can search out basically a lot of things already to the field and hand, and opening and drawing this late game is really unessential. This card only has 2 factors, or 2 reasons to be played. Obviously, the search to the hand, and for main phase 2 with Watt Draft to be a special to normal summon to your level 4 exceeds. Those are the only things you really need it for. The 3 Cobras to continue to search to your hand. There's nothing to be said about that. The 3 Giraffe, basically one of the best card in the deck, honestly, because of the fact that you can, the best monster in the deck, honestly. The ability to make, basically break through skill the whole field in a sense, and kind of just negate everything your opponent controls and owns. Just a really good play, and just it basically shuts down a lot. And the Pheasant 2, this is your Exceed Banisher. I would play 2, but I kept drawing multiples on them, and honestly, 1's enough, and having multiples kind of just keeps them dead, considering its effect doesn't really benefit you much of a plus. 3 Dragonflies. Shout out to Vexicus466 for the signature. 3 Dragonflies, just their ability to summon anything off destruction is just really good. But considering a lot of cards now play Send, or have cards that label Send, this card tends to almost have a non-existent presence on the field as it used to. But against the Rogue matchup, it's the best card to set up field presence because it lets your opponent out. It shows you what your opponent's going to out to play, and then you can benefit and opt to go into any of your other plays that you need to go to. So this lets you set up bigger plays. The Thunder Kings, these might be coming out soon because this is only really for decks that search a lot, like Heroes and Constellars. But even then, they have the ability to jump over. Against the Dragon matchup, it's semi-good, and against the Prophecy matchup, it's just good to stop the Judgment. Other than that, it just gets easily jumped over. And then the Dyna, I played 2 Dynas in the main deck, which kind of conflicts with the Dragonflies, but you can play around it. If you can protect Dyna honestly can win you game hand down. Obviously, the big problem is that he's just a really small beat stick, and that you can't even benefit your own exceeds off. But again, if you play it right and you can protect it, it's just combos off well. I mean, he's not going to do any attacking, your Watts will. So don't worry about your opponent setting anything in defense mode, because he's not going to be doing much of the attacking. And even if your opponent has an open field, they can't draw cores anyways. The Max here to continue having a hand advantage and plus. It's basically all it is. I mean, I would play the Veilers, but I play Fiendish Chain, but I might change the 2 of the Fiendish to the 2 of the Veilers soon. And then the 1 Cyber. The 1 Cyber is the Chimeritic feeder from the Draco Sack, and if you can combo this off well with Giraffe, Giraffe's attack to let the Cyber Dragon's attack to continue to go through is just a really nice plus, and it gets over the heliotropes and stupid things like that. And then the Honest is obvious. Spells are the MSTs and the Heavy. This might come out because honestly Heavy is just a really bad card in this format. When you think about it, a lot of the triples of considering that now this format, these 2 cards are considered dead most of the times. But yes, I do play the Heavy, the Dark, the Monster Reborn. The MSTs are really good end phase. And then the 1 Duality because you search enough as well, but you would like to get to your support. The 2 called Haunteds that you can play as both offensive and defensive. On the offensive side, you do the Giraffe attack and still in battle phase call, and they can't do anything about it. And then on your opponent's turn, especially when your opponent enters Judgment, you can call back Thunder King and they lose all the support that they would gain to their hand. The Fiendish that might come out for the Veilers, this is just good against the Rogue matchup, but considering a lot of the things can target themselves to banish or bounce, like Pleiades and Draco Sacks and stuff, it's just it doesn't do really much. And considering that people run vanillas, it's really stupid. The warning and the judgment. You can't run 3 anymore, obviously. I don't know why I'm not playing triple compulse, but I should be playing triple compulse. I only have room for the 2 right now. Obviously, it's your Dracossack killer. And your all misses can be 2 if they have no tokens. I played the triple threatening. Again, this is just another way that I can protect the Fossil Dyna. I also play triple Waboku. Any of these cards with any of your wants can leech. Especially if you have multiple, you can benefit yourself at least 3 turns of direct attacks, and considering how big your field was from the turn 1, I guess, you can dwindle your opponents down in life points very quickly while maintaining field advantage and pluses to the hand. The side deck, or the extra deck, 2 Utopias. I mean, this extra deck's really scrubby to begin with. This is actually the regional extra deck. The 2 Utopias and the Chaos. For like 6 hands, I guess. I don't know. Honestly, what I would play that for. The Omega for the Fire Fist matchup. The ability to go into Mega is just really funny. The Pearl Beatstick. Opera Operative for Frogs. The Dollar for Mouse. I'll play it. I know. The Maestro for the Trolls. To get past Zen mains and any other thing that just presents problem cards. The Shockmaster that you can actually go into really easily, so you can net your opponent. The Corn to continue to burn damage, and the same thing with the double Cowboys. And then for your other ones, I play Zen mains for the cards on the side, like Snowmanators, and the Gachis for the Maxis and the Dragonfly. And then as of this moment, I don't have a side deck. I just have cards that are thrown together. But honestly, I feel like this deck has life. This deck honestly had the best chance to take over September 1st format, and God forbid last year's format, if I would have put some thought into it. And the deck's fun. But going into regionals or nationals, I mean, this is not the deck to be playing at nationals. I mean, if nationals was like a block away, I'd play. But like, this is not the time and place to be playing this. But in terms of just something you want to play that's fun and actually quite competitive when you think about it, which is I think the biggest problem with this format. On a side note, I feel like anybody playing Dragons or Prophecies that get upset over a loss should probably rethink their game status and probably think of something else to play, because I think the reason this game tends to go a lot to shit is because creativity goes out the window, and when people aren't creative anymore, that's probably why the game morality goes down as well, is because nobody wants to be creative anymore. It's either tier or nothing. So I think going down the line, I think it's time for people to start getting a little bit more creative, put some thought to your deck, sit down with your deck, look at it, think of the style, think of the plays. And, because I mean, for me and my friend Koji, my teammate Koji and I, we were about table 8 at regionals, and the fact that people thought that we were trolling because we were playing Frogs and Watts, I think a lot of the E-Dragon player next to me was actually really upset the fact that I was doing as well as I was, because he looked at me and said that I was a disgrace to the game, in which I told him that that's pretty funny and I appreciated the shout out in a sense. But he was really upset at us for not playing tier, considering everything around us was Swarms, Dragons, and Prophecies. But then at that point, it doesn't really matter what he thought because he was a California player. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's the deck, and again, that's my tip to anybody looking to play down the line that doesn't have a lot of money. Look at what you have, see what you can do with it, take some time, be patient. You still have a couple months left before September, so you have time to think and play whatever you want to. And I guess that's my best advice for anybody playing this game right now, is be patient.